If you think you know the founding fathers, you need to watch this. We all know the big names: Washington, the stoic general; Jefferson, the eloquent philosopher. But what about the man they called his rotundity? The brilliant, passionate, and often prickly lawyer from Massachusetts who was at the center of it all. John Adams is one of the most misunderstood and underappreciated figures in American history. He was a walking contradiction, a revolutionary who feared mob rule, a devoted husband who spent years away from his family, and a president whose biggest accomplishments were acts of peace, not war. The history books often give you the highlight reel, but the real story is so much more complex and frankly, more interesting. So, get ready to see a side of the second president you were never taught in school. I'm about to show you 12 wild John Adams facts that will change the way you see him. Buckle up. Number 1. He was a self-made man from humble beginnings. Born in 1735 in Braintree, Massachusetts, Adams wasn't part of the wealthy Virginia planter elite like Washington or Jefferson. His father was a farmer, a deacon, and a cordwainer, a shoemaker. This upbringing instilled in him a Puritan work ethic and a fierce ambition to rise above his station. He was proof that in the burgeoning American society, intellect and drive could pave a path to power. Number 2, he defied his father to become a lawyer. Adams's father scraped together the money to send him to Harvard, hoping his son would become a minister. But after graduating, John found himself drawn to the logic and argumentation of the law. He chose to become a lawyer, a profession he initially described as a dreary ramble. But it was this legal training that sharpened his mind and prepared him to argue for the very foundations of a new nation. Number 3, he defended the British soldiers of the Boston Massacre. This is one of his most courageous and controversial acts. In 1770, after British troops fired on a Boston crowd, anti-British sentiment was at a fever pitch. No lawyer wanted to touch the case, but Adams, a patriot who despised the British occupation, believed deeply in the right to a fair trial. He argued that facts are stubborn things, and successfully defended the soldiers, getting most of them acquitted. It was a masterclass in legal principle over popular passion. Number 4, he was America's top, and often most frustrated diplomat. During the Revolution, Congress sent Adams to Europe to secure alliances and loans. He was instrumental in getting the Dutch to recognize and fund the young United States, a critical lifeline. But his blunt, undiplomatic style often clashed with the polished manners of European courts, especially when compared to the famously charming Benjamin Franklin. Adams was all business, no fluff, which didn't always win him friends but ultimately got the job done. Number 5, he was a key architect of the Treaty of Paris. While Franklin gets much of the credit for the 1783 treaty that officially ended the Revolutionary War, Adams was the bulldog at the negotiating table. He stubbornly refused to compromise on crucial points, particularly securing American fishing rights off Newfoundland and demanding the British fully recognize the new nation's expansive borders. His tenacity ensured the United States wasn't just independent, but also economically viable and geographically secure from the start. Number 6, he hated being vice president. Adams was the first person to hold the office, serving 2 terms under George Washington, and he found it utterly miserable. He famously wrote to his wife Abigail that it was the most insignificant office that ever the invention of man contrived. He was a man of action and intellect, now stuck in a role with little power, mostly just presiding over the Senate. His frustration was a constant source of private complaint. Number 7, he was the first and only Federalist president. After Washington, Adams won a fiercely contested election to become the second U.S. president. He was a member of the Federalist Party, which favored a strong central government. His opponent, Thomas Jefferson, became his vice president, a quirk of the original Constitution. This meant the nation's 2 highest offices were held by leaders of opposing political parties, creating an administration filled with tension and political backstabbing from day one. Number 8, he was the first president to live in a still under-construction White House. In 1800, the capital moved to Washington, D.C. Adams and his wife Abigail moved into the president's house, which was far from finished. It was damp, drafty, and cavernous. The main staircase wasn't even built. Abigail famously hung the presidential laundry to dry in the unfinished East Room. Adams wrote a prayer on his second night there, that none but honest and wise men ever rule under this roof. Number 9, he signed the Alien and Sedition Acts, a major stain on his legacy. Fearing war with France and facing vicious attacks from the pro-Jefferson press, Adams's Federalist Party passed these infamous laws in 1798. They made it harder for immigrants to become citizens and made it a crime to criticize the government. It was a direct assault on free speech, and though Adams didn't write the laws, he signed and enforced them. It remains a dark chapter in his presidency and a cautionary tale about national security and civil liberties. Number 10. He sacrificed his presidency to avoid war with France. Despite the hysteria and the pressure from his own party to declare war, Adams believed a full-scale conflict with France would destroy the young nation. He pursued a path of peace, sending a final diplomatic mission that successfully negotiated an end to the hostilities. And this decision was deeply unpopular and split his own party, costing him the 1800 election. But Adams always considered it his proudest achievement, later saying he wanted on his tombstone, "Here lies John Adams, who took upon himself the responsibility of peace with France." Number 11. His most lasting act was a midnight appointment. After losing the election of 1800, in the final weeks of his presidency, Adams made a series of judicial appointments. The most important was naming John Marshall as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Marshall would go on to serve for 34 years, and through landmark cases like Marbury versus Madison, he established the principle of judicial review and shaped the Supreme Court into the powerful co-equal branch of government it is today. It was arguably Adams's single most impactful decision. And finally, number 12, he died on the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the exact same day as Thomas Jefferson. After years of bitter political rivalry, Adams and Jefferson reconciled in their old age, exchanging a remarkable series of letters. On July 4, 1826, as the nation celebrated its 50th birthday, the 90-year-old Adams passed away in Massachusetts. His last words were reportedly, "Thomas Jefferson survives." He was wrong. His great rival had died just a few hours earlier in Virginia. A poetic and unbelievable end to two of America's most foundational lives.